International. Back up on your screen. FN International back on your screen. The best all sports conglomerate you've ever seen. Start spreading the word. All you dirty birds, cause we ain't stopping. Haven't you heard? With a thrill, yeah, he's leading the way. Daze ain't here to play. I knew his brother Deano holding it down. Straight from old London town. Scottish Falcons and friends. You know how we get down. We got that die-hard mentality. Frequent flyers family. Scotland, England, Mexico. Stateside crew running the show. Falcons, Hawks, Dream, Brave, Georgia sports. That's all we know. And so much more. We loyal to the soil. We ride or die. Keep it here, keep it tilted. AFNI.
Welcome, everybody. I do apologize first and foremost for the technical glitch that we had in the last 20 minutes because we should have started 20 minutes ago. It's just been a bit of a wild ride, but I do apologize. But guys, welcome to another episode with the AFN family with your boy Deano and my other boy over here, Will. Will, how you doing, man? You doing good? I can barely hear you. I can't really hear you, bro. You're muted. You muted? You good?
How's that?
There you go. There you go.
There we go. Always good to get back on and fly the flag for AFN. I think you've had to do the introduction because I was a little bit reticent. So, as he says, I'm your boy, Will the Thrill Waddle, the quarterback of AFN International. But it's not just about the Falcons tonight because we're going to be throwing it open a little bit and representing for the whole NFL because tonight is, as I understand it, and you being the prediction maestro that you are, Deano, I think it's time to get into some picks tonight. Isn't that right? So tell the people what they can expect.
Yeah, all good, mate. I'm just trying to get my audio up, right? It's still up and running a bit. There you go.
Yeah, you're all good.
It's been a bit silly. There you go.
You're good. This is what happens when you do the impromptu shows, and we're still figuring out a couple of things. Obviously, as I say, keep dropping the red and blacks down in the chat as Deano's still learning the ropes. But obviously, as I say, he's got more than enough good takes to warrant that. As I say, we've always had an eye for talent here at AFN, so let the tech issues fall where they may. We'll just keep rolling.
It's been a crazy Thursday. That's what it's been. It's a long day, guys. So we do apologize. But we got there in the end. So, so guys, this is something that I have been wanting to do for a fair while. From last year, if I'm being honest. As we know, when it comes to off season in the NFL, it does it gets boring. It does get boring, especially when it's a couple months after the Super Bowl finishes. So I wanted to bring in something which I thought would keep us on our toes in regards to coming closer to the season. So I thought to myself, let's do a prediction thing. I'm already doing it in football with the Premier League. So I thought, let me incorporate something with the NFL. As I've done in the last couple of seasons, I've done it with my helmets, with my no mini helmets. But this time I thought, let me do something different. I just thought, let me do some cards. So I've got my props. I've got my little cards here in front of me with all 8 divisions, all 32 teams. This will be how I think these divisions will finish by the time we get to the end of the regular season. I know Will's got his we both got our way of who we think is going to be where and whereabouts. Let us know what you think in the comments. I know not everyone's going to agree with what we've got to go with, but do let us know what you think in the comments. Do let us know later on if you see it. If you're not with us live, then let us know later on, and then we can always come back to it as the season goes on. So when we get to about week 10 after the international games.
Week 10, week 11, maybe.
Yeah,
going into the back week.
Because
normally obviously we won't have a game show. So
yeah.
I'm thinking we maybe look at week 11 while we've got the bye. I think that would be great timing for it to kind of look back over these.
Okay.
I've got my little notepad file going in the background and keeping a mental note of what's been said. Because as I've said, we've each been wrong 1,000 times before in the past. We'll be wrong 1,000 more. But that's the beauty of it. You know, I've openly admitted on the show with you and Des that I am not the biggest lover of making predictions because they can always come back to bite you. But
Yeah.
it's all in good fun. So
This
in
is
the
all fun.
spirit of
This is
good
all
fun,
fun, and this is all fun and games for me. This is all fun. This is the way of interacting with everybody just to get everyone involved. So this is a good thing because I know fans from different teams, so it'll be good to see what they think and see where their team will think, where they think their team will be, and whereabouts. So this is the time, especially when we are just under 3 weeks. Is it just under 3 weeks now to the regular season now? So
yeah,
we're getting there.
it's
So
thinking down, and I'm really looking forward to seeing obviously what the season brings.
yeah,
Obviously, we're opening up a few new corridors and avenues. We're building a few new bridges. So obviously, I know you've got a lot of guys watching who may not necessarily be Falcons fans. So we are going to look to introduce soon the new sort of ethos that we've been looking at for maybe potential some side episodes called Fraternizing with the Enemy, which essentially, as it sounds, or as we'd say in the UK, it does what it says on the tin. So obviously with that, we're going to be inviting friends of all other teams across the league, even those ain'ts, to pop on, chat some football, talk about what's going to be happening when the games to come as well. So obviously, if you want to smash that like, share, subscribe button, all that good stuff, we promise that it's going to be a long and an exciting season to come. Deano. So without too much more sort of posturing, but one thing I will say as well, because we are kind of spreading things out before we fly into it to the rest of the league, let us know not just where you're watching from, guys, but also who you're representing. So as I say, we are the boys in red and black, but obviously you don't have to be of that disposition tonight. This is a free form. As I say, you're all open to eat at this table. We're putting on the buffet for you all tonight. So what I'll do is I'll pass it back co-host with the most and start it off then. So for part one,
what we're doing,
we were taught a
FC
little
Mill.
rhyme in school that goes, never eat shredded wheat. And
Mhm.
we're starting in the American Conference.
Yeah,
And as we say, the
we always seem to be
AFC. So
we always
there
seem
you
to
go.
start with the AFC. I don't know why. It irks me as well. Because there's so many darling teams in the AFC. I just don't like them. I don't like none of them. They can get out of it. But anyway, but yeah, we're gonna start off with the AFC North. I've got them in order already, but I'm gonna just show you from fourth going right up to first. So again, for any of you guys out there who I know who follow certain teams, don't judge me because I'm just going on what the projection shows me. So
Mhm.
AFC North, fourth. I think we're gonna go with the Browns. I can't see anything else there. I do apologize, Cleveland, but you've still got a long way to go, I feel, but your time will come. I know your time will come. You're still in a bit of a rebuild. You've got the quarterbacks. Um, I think I think with Cleveland, they're just like us, ain't they? With their quarterback
Mhm.
situation. Um,
Yeah.
they're having a dispute over whether it's
And
Sanders
maybe
or
even a bit worse as well.
yeah.
I think with the Shador situation as well with him, I don't understand, man. I mean, this is something that we could do a whole episode on, but what I don't understand why you want to start Deshaun Watson. That's a whole nother matter. And shout out to Maggie T, the first lady of AFN, giving
Maggie.
us our props down in the chat. Always good to see it.
Yep.
And I hope everything's going well down in Radio Land, as well as over in the A. I know you're holding things down stateside for us, my sister. So it's always good to see you taking time to spend time with your boys in the chat. So Deano, sorry, we digress. You were
This
about
is
to cut
yeah.
your teeth on the AFC
The-
North, and I mean, we're not
yeah.
starting with an easy division, are we?
Yeah. It's not an easy division. This is actually a hot take for me with this one coming up, but I then realised the team finished this who I think will finish third. I still think they'll get will get a winning record. But I think they may just miss out. Just
Mm,
only just. Um, I think the whole thing with coaching change as well. I think the Tomlin effect might have an factor in this one. Um,
mhm.
they still got a bit. They still got a lot of talent at Pittsburgh, but I think they're gonna come maybe a bit short. I think the other two. I think the two teams above them have got something a bit more in terms of
Yeah,
offense. That's what I'm thinking right now.
yeah.
So I've put Pittsburgh third.
Mhm.
This team again, like Cleveland, their time will come, just not yet. they will win a division in the near future, but I don't think they're going to do it this time round. Cincy, you will make the playoffs. I do believe that there'll be I think they'll get a wild card. There'll be a wild card weekend by the time it comes to the playoffs in January. I think they'll be there. What can I say about Joe Burrow? What can I say about Jamar Chase? I can't really say much about them two. They're amongst the best of the best, and I think they're going to be there again. But I think they're just going to come up a little bit short from the team, which I think all these three just have had a right matches you with. The flock, those guys from Baltimore. I don't see. I really just think that they're the ones that are going to come back in this division. I think last year they were unfortunate. I think they missed out on that winner takes all against the Steelers, if I remember. So I think, but I think this time they're going to probably make amends. I think they're going to finish top of the division. So I've got it as the Baltimore Ravens, the Cincinnati Bengals, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and then the Cleveland Browns hanging down there in the bottom place. I think with Cleveland, I think they're going to be gunning for. I mean, if they're going to go for a first round pick, then they may tank it. But I think that's our division. That's how I think the division is going to finish by the time we come to the regular season.
Okay. That's a great take, and I think that's I'm 99% there with you. Before I kind of give you my take, shout out to the Irish brethren, Floyd Lonley down in the chat. It's good that you finally got time to tune in, and it's nice and early too. So we'll be here for the next sort of 2 hours or so, going through the whole league. So you'll have a whole 2 hours of your boys tonight to look forward to. So we're going to rise up, we're going to raise some hell, as you say, sir. So we're glad to have you. But yeah, the AFC North, especially because it's a division that we'll see in regular season play this year, is one that I've got my eye on. Obviously, you had the whole Baltimore situation with Crosby. Obviously, that fell through, so we don't have quite as much to worry about in that being said. But, I mean, as you say, a lot of good things you can say about Cincinnati, outside of how much they're paying the three guys that you mentioned earlier. But yeah, I mean, Cincinnati need to obviously work that out a little bit monetarily for me. But taking that out of the equation, I feel like on the football field, we know they're an effective team. I feel like it's going to be a difficult job to get the job done in Madrid when we see those boys. So yeah, I think I would probably agree with that when it comes to the North. I think Cleveland are in a little bit of free fall. They're in a sort of grey area. Same with Miami. But I feel like taking Cleveland out of the equation, I feel Pittsburgh, you're still in a little bit of a quarterback limbo there as well. That's going to obviously play into effect as well, which is obviously bearing into why you're putting them third. And I would agree with that. So I think the AFC North is going to be a two-horse race, and it's going to come down to, as you say, Joey B or Lamar Jackson. But I know that Lamar has been chomping at the bit, and you know it too, because he obviously has. He's not been the best performer when it comes to the playoffs, when the lights are shining brightest. But that's something we can talk about when we come to obviously a little bit later on down the road. But as regular season comes, it's tough to call against that Baltimore offense. As much firepower as they have, say their defense is, I feel like, going to let them down in a few games, and I feel like that's going to be the deciding factor in the North. And I feel like regular season for regular season, I think it's going to be very comparable numbers between the two quarterbacks. But I feel like the deciding factor is going to be the play from the defense because, as you know, Baltimore have always got a sort of consistent defensive scheme and one that sort of is always in that kind of top half of the league as well. So I think that's going to carry them into playoff mix for sure in the North as well. So with that being said, I mean, a lot to kind of consider, but I'm sure we kind of like we'll see what happens in the divisionals because I think much like the NFC South, it's going to come into what happens when those teams actually play one another as well. There's going to be some good games. I'm looking forward to a lot more Cincy this year. That'll be tasty.
I always look forward to when the Steelers and the Ravens play each other as well.
Yeah, there's always some fireworks. I mean, that was one of the games that made me an NFL fan. Before I became a Falcons fan, I was watching quite objectively. And two of the guys that made me, or three of the guys I should say, that made me love the game were Ed Reed, Ray Lewis in Baltimore, and of course Troy Polamalu in Pittsburgh. So watching those AFC North clashes, like my mind still goes back to the time where Baltimore had the goal line stand and they tried to push it in, and Polamalu comes right clean over the offensive line, and stuff like that. It's just like that man was a Tasmanian devil. So
He
yeah,
was
I
a
mean,
menace.
if I was an NFC South fan, there is a good chance that I would maybe be repping someone in the AFC North. Um, given my disposition towards Poe, I must say it would likely be Baltimore if I was to support a team in the North. But nah, I'm a Southern boy. So with that being said, all respect to the Ravens and the Bengals. I think you're getting two teams into the playoffs this year. Um, and I think it could be a similar situation, Dino, when you talk about things out east as well in the AFC,
Yep,
because I
yep,
would say another two teams that we feel like are not in the most consistent of positions to compete this year. We know
yep.
Miami's in full on rebuild mode. They've got rid of Jalen Waddle. Obviously, they've got rid of Tua as well. You add the Jets into that mix, things get a little worrying. But what's your take on the AFC East
Well,
division, my brother?
you mentioned them just on your moment ago, and they're going to go straight down. I'm not ever going to pull any punches with them. Unfortunately, um, they're a young team. It's going to be enthusiastic for them, but it's going to be a long. I think it's going to be a very long season. I think they've been projected to look at getting a new quarterback. Um,
Mhm.
so they're probably going to be looking at the draft themselves. They've lost players again. I think their head coach he's in his first year. I can't remember his
Yeah.
name, but I think he's in his first year. So it's going to be a very much experimental season for the Dolphins just to see where they're at. But at the same time, they're in a division with three other teams, well, two other teams especially, who are going to, I think, are going to run away with it. Um,
Mhm.
one of them probably a little bit more so than the other. But I think for this season now, I think this is going to be a learning curve for Miami. And for any Miami Dolphin fans of their K, if you're listening, I know I'm going to send this to you. And I know you've been saying the same thing. I say you're not looking forward to it, but I know he's like saying he's just going to face the music and see what happens. But I think he's bearing it. So
I think it's
yeah,
going to
it's
be
going
a
to be.
fun show. And if you are listening, we'd love to have you on because, as I say, you would be a great candidate to kick off the fraternising with the enemy
Yeah,
portion of things. As I say, with us playing your Dolphins in Miami on Friday night or tomorrow night, we should say now. Yeah, it's going to be exciting. So for anyone that wants to tune in, whether you are wearing the white and aqua or the red and black, it's going to be a fun show. So be sure to tune in for that one. And as you say, when it comes to the north, rather these teams in the northeast, and Floyd said it too. I think it's going to be a two-horse race, and I think it's going to be potentially a one-game thing that
yeah.
decides it. And I think it's going to be when those two teams that you're still to
The,
mention
the,
come up
the
against one
tiebreak
another
between them
again.
two is going to be the tiebreak is going to be pretty interesting. Actually, it's going to be very tight.
Mm,
Which basically then brings these boys out, the
mm,
New York Jets. But the one thing that I did see last season, I mean, I think in a couple of games I saw with New York, they were quite unlucky in a few of them. But as time has gone on, they've got a little bit better as time has gone on. So again, there's a bit more optimism for New York for the Jets. They did show some signs early on, from what I remember, but then they start to fade away. But then that's just down to the fact that the Bills and the Patriots just came out of nowhere and they've done what they do. So I feel I don't I feel the Jets, for a change, they're not going to finish bottom of this division. The last time amazingly, if I recall, the last time they won this division was back in 2002. Um, and that's no fault
yeah.
of their own. But when you've got Tom Brady at the helm of the Patriots, now you've got Josh Allen there. It's always going to be a tough ask for anyone to have them quarterbacks in your division. So and New York
Yeah.
and the Jets have been very, very harshly done by in regards to new rebuilds and having players come and go. So I think they're going to finish where they finish. But I think this again, kind of similar to Miami, another experimental thing. But I think they're going to be a little bit better, but just not as good as the two teams above them.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's my
Yeah, I
take
agree
on
with
that
that.
on
I
the
mean,
Jets.
I don't see much in New York right now.
Yeah,
Mhm. I don't see a lot either that really. I mean, they've got some good young talent, but for me, what lost a lot of respect from me for the Jets was getting rid of Sauce Gardner. I feel like he
yeah.
was a real big point in which you could have rebuilt your offense, and of course they've sent him down south to Indianapolis. So with that being said, it's an interesting point that the Jets are at. It's going to be good to see them not at the bottom given the situation in Miami.
Mhm.
But as I say, it's the AFC East is going to be a two-horse race, as we say before. I mean, I think New York can enter into the mix in maybe years to come, but we say that with New England having another up-and-comer in Drake May as well. I don't know
Mhm.
if he's going to put up Tom Brady-esque numbers, but I mean, very few people are going to put up Tom Brady-esque numbers. So with that being said, I mean, I feel like he can be a serviceable to more than serviceable quarterback in the New England system. You know the way Mike Vrabel likes to play ball. Obviously, that brings it to you. So I mean, do you think
Mhm.
the Patriots get it done, or are you leaning towards
Well,
a little bit of Josh Allen?
I don't know. I'm even right now. I'm kind of thinking which one. Um, I'm gonna go to be second in this group, but I think both again kind of similar to the North. I think they're both gonna. I think they're both gonna get to the playoffs. Um,
Yeah.
I'm gonna put the Patriots second. I'm gonna put them second. Yeah, it's. I think between the both of them, it's gonna come down to those two games. But I do feel that one
Yeah.
of the other two teams will have a say where this division goes. Um, I believe they'll split.
Yeah.
I think they'll split the series. Um, but I think New York will have a say where this goes. In regards to division,
Yeah.
because I think all the divisions are doing the last few games all in the divisions. Is it all the last three games or something like that? So if the last couple of games are
As far as
all
I
like,
understand it. Yeah.
yeah, if all the last couple of games or last three games are all within the division, then yeah, I think New York will have a say to stay where it go. Um,
Yeah.
but I think the Patriots will. I
Yeah,
mean, the Patriots have got a
particularly
good team.
because
They've got a
we
good
may
team out
have
there.
those two.
Mm,
Yeah, I'm thinking particularly because when you're talking about teams the caliber of the Bills and the Patriots, they may well be resting players by that point. So they
yeah.
could afford to drop a game in New York, which obviously, in the grand scheme of things, will count
Mm,
towards divisional standings and playoff seedings and things like that. So I think it may well be the case where it happens in the South too. I've said, and I'll reiterate it when we get onto the South, just how I feel about that. Going to be a two-horse race in the South, but I think that one team who isn't mentioned in that two-horse race is going to have a bigger as well, because things can get
yeah.
a little crazy in the South, as you know. But we'll talk about that when we get there. But yeah, I mean, the AFC I feel like is definitely the most, generally speaking, the more dangerous of the two conferences. But with that being said, the weakest division in football for me personally would be the AFC South, which we're moving on to next. So just to give you guys a reminder, or a shout out to the fans who are in here, if you are a Texan, a Colt, a Titan, or a Jaguar, or Jaguar, I hate that pronunciation. It's one of those Americanisms that really gets to me. Jaguar. No, but with that being
Can't do
said,
it.
it's time to turn the no, it sits funny in the throat. But no, I mean, with that being said, I owe a lot of respect to some of those teams. I mean, some of them are on the cusp of being good playoff teams, but
Yeah.
maybe not quite there yet. But I'll pass it back over to you, and you can kind of give
Okay.
me your thoughts. But
Um,
an interesting division, but maybe not the most interesting division quite yet, shall we say?
Very interesting division. I think. I mean, the last couple of years, Tennessee have been the whipping boys in this one. Um, I'm looking back at it now. I'm looking at it now. I'm thinking, oh, okay. I think begrudgingly, I want to put them bottom. Begrudgingly, I'm putting them bottom. Um, because I think between them and the Colts, they're going to struggle. I think the Colts. I mean,
Mm.
I know the Colts are going through their own little bit of problem. They've got Daniel Jones still, and I think they're going to be a bit of a struggle for themselves. But I think the Titans are still. They're going to be better. They're not going to be as bad as what they were again. I think it's kind of similar to the Jets, but I think they're going to be the team down there again. Um,
Mhm.
this I know who. I mean, I think everyone knows who. I think most people know who's going to come out of this division on top. if we're being honest. And the other three, I think they're just going to just be also rans. I think only one team's coming out this going to the playoffs. That being said, Indy, you can toss a coin between the two of these two. To be fair, still got Jonathan Taylor though. Still one of the top running backs in the league. So, but I don't know. I think these two are going to. I don't see them doing much in this division, and I don't see them getting any further into the playoffs. Jacksonville, Trevor Lawrence, he seems to be getting Trevor seems to be getting better with every year. I remember when he first came into the league, he was a bit tedious and was a bit tentative, but then as time has gone on, he's really done well. The last couple of seasons, he's been quite good, and Jacksonville have surprised a few people, and I think they're going to surprise a few people again. I think they're going to be up there. I think they're going to just miss out on the playoffs. In this one, purely because teams in the other divisions are going to probably finish a better record and be a bit higher. So I think they're just going to miss out. But I think when it comes to the draft, they're going to have a mid-level pick. So I think they'll just miss out. And that then being said, put those Texans up there. I think Houston will have another season where they're going to be up there again.
Before I let you go into Houston, Dino, I'd like you to do us a favour, if you would. Floyd has been watching all the way since back in season 1. So Dino is based down in South London. He is a Falcons fanatic and also an Arsenal fan. As I say, he comes to us courtesy of the ATL Falcons UK group chat, which is something that we'll be exploring pretty soon, because we will hopefully be hoping to host the boys soon. So Dino, if you want to talk a little bit about sort of your Falcons fandom and how you came to be part of this whole crazy shenanigans that we've got going on, let the people know. The floor is yours, sir.
Yeah, I've got Houston winning. I've got Houston winning this division, and I don't think the other three are really gonna. They're not going to be in the. I don't think they're going to be in the playoffs. So I think Houston's going to win this division and go through and be in a wild card. That's what I think. I can't see the others doing anything going into the season. I think they're all gonna. It's going to be another struggle season. It is a really struggling. It's a weak division. It is a weak, and it has been quite weak for the last few years. But I know at some point, it's going to pick up again. But I think for the time being, I think Houston have got this locked. I think they're going to finish top and go through to the playoffs. That's what I think. I'm looking at. Yeah, I'm still looking at it now. I think I can't see anyone touching them, to be fair. So that's what I've got. That's what I've got for the AFC South.
That's going to be maybe for the first time we have a disagreement, because I think even though the bust term's been thrown around for Trevor Lawrence, I think this is the year he finally figures it out. I feel like now you've got a second-year Travis Hunter who's evolved to the point where now he knows his position in the league as well. An improved running game as well down there in Jacksonville. So I feel like this may be the year where they can maybe get it done. But then my question is, has Indianapolis got enough to really do anything against Houston to get that into second place? And for me, they don't right now. I know it was essentially a lot of backups and all that good stuff, but I didn't see a lot out of Indianapolis to make me convinced that they would be a threat in the South this year. So with that being said, I'm thinking maybe I don't think this is one of the divisions necessarily where two teams get out. I think that is a one-team division, and I think it's going to be close. I think maybe 1 to 2 games is going to swing it, but I think it might be Jacksonville.
Yeah, I think Jacksonville.
That's kind of where I'm at with it. Yeah,
I think so. Like that. I put them
and as Maggie's saying, share this out before we get into the NFC, because we're about to get into the nitty gritty and bring things back home to our NFC South real soon as well. Yeah. So I mean, share it out now and let the people know, regardless of what team they're into, because as I say, we're going to cover them all as best as we can tonight. As I say, trying not to be too Falcon centric, because there's a lot to come, including the watch party tomorrow. So with that being said, let's close out the AFC first, and head out to, as I've said many times, arguably one of the most interesting and intriguing situations divisionally in football. that being the AFC West with the Broncos, Chiefs, Raiders, and Chargers. So
I'm
with that being said, another tough one
I'm
for you
I'm
to.
I'm gonna say to right now to anyone who follows a team in the AFC West, I am sorry in advance because this is the toughest division. This was the toughest division I had to pick. I'm sorry in advance, so don't judge me. So, just just bear with me. But this was a very very. I was on this one for a good hour um, last week trying to figure out who I thought was gonna how this was gonna go. Um, the crazy thing is, I know people who follow each one of these teams. Um, Keith, Keith, I'm sorry, mate. And I know you, and I know we've spoken about. I know we've spoken about your boys. I'm so sorry. Um, Oakland, LA. I can't keep up with them anymore. Vegas, whichever one. Vegas. Yeah. I can't see anything just yet.
Mhm.
Love your fans. You guys are enthusiastic. I love the fact that you guys are passionate about the fans, but I can't see Vegas doing much in this division. I think the other three have got a bit too much quality about them, and that's what makes this next bit so hard as well. When it comes to picking out these three, it is a tough division, and so many people over the last couple of years said this is the toughest division in football. So, like I said, do not judge me with how I've put this. Um, even now, I'm looking at the three of them now, and I'm like, yeah, this is Chargers next. I'm just gonna go with it. Sorry, LA. Yeah, you're just gonna have to go there. I'm sorry. I think the team that you share that stadium with,
Mhm.
I think they're gonna have a better season. That's all I'm gonna say. But we're gonna get to the NFC at some point. Now,
You see,
with
this is
these
your fault.
two,
You proposed
hmm?
this show. In my defence, I'm sweet and innocent. I'm just the bystander here. But Dean's like, no, we need to make predictions. So inevitably, we were gonna hurt some people, and that's on you, my friend.
Yeah, we're gonna hurt. Yeah, we're gonna hurt people. I'm so sorry. Uh, um, yeah, I think this is. You know what? Yeah, that's my take.
Mhm.
For the simple reason they're getting old, and I think Denver have got a bit more about them.
Mhm.
I believe that Denver could have the potential to go on better,
Mhm.
and I do. And as much as these teams are all used to playing each other when it comes to the divisional games and everything, the fact that they play where they play, that does play a factor, even though these teams are used to playing mile higher when they go there. But I just think that Denver have got a bit more about them. I think they've got the more complete team in this division. The Chiefs will give them a run. Undoubtedly, will give them a run for their money. But I think the Broncos have got a bit too much about them, in my view. Like I said, begrudgingly, it is a tough division. I mean, you can toss a coin at this point. I mean, the Chargers could come out of nowhere and just shock everybody and just literally finish above both of them. You know,
Yeah.
and Kansas City could even finish above Broncos. It's a tough division. It is a very very tough division to pick out of.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I
I
think genuinely this was the one I struggled with the most as well. Do you know what I mean? I hate to make it all about the quarterbacks, but inevitably, as people say, it is the most important position in football.
yeah,
And when you're talking about the AFC West, you have a lot of different factors. What Patrick Mahomes are you going to get each Sunday? Also, alternatively, I'm not putting so much of the issues on LA on Justin Herbert himself. The guy's a
yeah,
stud, but he's been let down a lot with inconsistent
yeah.
running to support him and no offensive line play. Those two tackles should be all pro. I mean, Joe Alt and I can't remember the other dude's name, but I mean
I
that's
can't remember his
essentially
name.
two all pro tackles. But
Mm,
and they can't seem to keep J Herb vertical. So if they can do that, the Chargers are going to be a real threat. Their defense again, like as I said earlier, in Baltimore, they're not always top five, but they're always consistent.
Yeah.
And swarming is that LA Chargers defense. So, and again, alternatively, when you talk about the Kansas City Chiefs, they're getting up there, they're aging. Obviously, we didn't know 100% whether Travis Kelce was going to call it a career or not.
Yeah.
Now that obviously all that's kind of been decided, we're ultimately looking at what the positions like at wide receiver. They're not as deep as they have been in campaigns gone by. But with that being said, it's Patrick Mahomes. The guy is a cheat
Yeah.
code. So if anyone can figure it out and find a way, it's going to be him and Andy Reid. So
Mm.
obviously, I'm intrigued to see what happens in the West. I agree with you that as a squad, Denver has more than enough to get the job done. I think they go 4-2 in the West. I think they take the division.
Yeah.
Um, I think they probably sweep Mile High and get their fourth win on the road in Vegas. And I think they drop the road games to LA and to Kansas respectively. But I feel with that being said, I think Denver gets the win. But my real question, and this is where inevitably I'm going to hurt some people, so I have to apologise to my boy, Odin's child, who's a New York based Chiefs fan, because I think the Chargers is going to have just a little bit more over the stretch than the Chiefs will. So I have. With respect, had to drop the Chiefs to 3 on that one. So yeah, my
Mhm.
AFC West prediction and my probably my biggest, most divisive call of the show to date. That's what I'm saying. I'm going Denver, LA, Kansas City, and Vegas, bringing up the read on that one. So I mean that's one that could come back to bite me. As I say, it's the toughest division that we've had to call in the show. So
Yes.
I mean, it begs repeating.
Yeah.
That one, if any division's going to come back and we're going to be like, yeah, we were nowhere close, it's going to be the AFC West. Oh dear.
It's,
But I mean,
it's look. I think with that division, I think the three of them will. I think all three of those teams will go into the playoffs.
yeah,
I think they.
I think so too.
I think they will go. I think they will go in. I mean, it's. I look at how we've got it, and I think it's 2, 4, 5, 6, 8 teams. Yeah, yeah, I can. I think the teams that we've got. Yeah, I think for the AFC, Denver, Chiefs, Chargers. I think they're gonna go into the postseason. I think with Houston, like we just said, either Houston or the Jaguars will go into it from the South.
I
Bills,
think you're
Patriots,
right. hmm So I
and
think we're
then
talking maybe two north, two east, one south, and
and three in the
three.
West.
Yep. So I think, but
Three in the West, yeah.
there's still only 7 playoff spots, right? So some of that's going to come down to, and the south, and it's one per division anyway. So someone's missing out.
Someone's
So it
gonna miss
may
out.
be in the west. It may be in the
I think,
west.
yeah, I think there's a. I mean, I've not seen any of the schedules for any of who they're playing, but yeah, if any teams from the West, if anyone from the West or from the East are playing each other, then yeah, those are going to be tough. They're going to be the key games as well.
Yeah.
But it's not, divisional games, one thing, but this division is very, very stacked. This conference, so it's very,
Yeah.
very stacked. Sorry, so it's going to be a tough one. I think the teams that we've picked out are the ones which are going to be there. But based upon it, I think someone will miss out.
Mhm.
Probably would pretty most likely be from the West. So we could be saying it could be either the Chargers or the Chiefs that could miss out.
Mhm.
Um, if that was to
Although with that
happen, the
being
question would
said,
be
if Cincinnati fall apart towards the end of the season again, we could
they
see
tend
us
to do that? Yeah,
Baltimore, yeah, in
yeah,
the north. So it may not be the West. We may see 3 teams in from the West, which
yeah,
I mean. So yeah, there's and again the X factor is the efficacy of quarterback play. So a lot of these guys are sort of on the line, and I mean it's probably arguably your top 5 QBs in the league when you're talking about Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes. That's
Mahomes,
probably for a lot of people that's your top 5 QBs in the league.
yeah,
But those are also the 5 guys where you're going. Look, if you want to be a playoff team, you kind of need to step up and prove it again
mhm,
to us. So I mean, I think there's going to be some fireworks in the AFC this season, and I'm here for it. I mean, as I say, I know
Hmm?
we're NFC boys, so we can kind of live vicariously over there and just kind of watch the
Yeah,
fireworks. But it's going to be pretty fun.
I think the NFC's got. I mean, yeah, the FC's looking tough, but yeah, with the next four divisions coming up are they're also equally as well. Three of the divisions are equally as tough. I'm not gonna divulge too much on one of them, but even though I have to. But I think you know who I'm. You know exactly what I mean. But yeah, I mean, we move on to the NFC.
Yeah.
Now we go
Let's do
back
it.
again. Um,
So again, we're heading back up north, So
we
that would
we
be
go
your
back up.
Vikings, Bears, Packers, and Lions. And again, arguably one of the toughest divisions in football to call because again, another one that's going to come down to consistency in
Yeah.
divisionals.
This is. I think when we talk about the AFC West being the best. This one I think is one of the most exciting. Arguably.
Mm,
And again, it is a tough division again with how I put this. It's going to be it's another one. It is another tough one. And again, it's whoever finishes bottom of this division, and who I've picked is Laura. If you're watching, I'm sorry. That's my hot take. That is my hot take.
okay.
And
Okay. Well. Mhm.
begrudgingly, I don't want to put on bottom. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I think it's gonna come back. I think this is the one. This is the one. This is gonna come back to haunt me. This is the one that's gonna come back to haunt
Mhm.
me because this division again is another hard one because
Yeah.
I'm putting faith in one team in particular to think that they might do well. Um,
Mhm.
and I think they kind of deserve to. But they last season they started off well and they kind of sorted off.
Yeah.
Yeah, love their
Mhm.
quarterback. I think they've got a very few. There's something about Chicago. I think which I don't know what it is. There's something there. I think this season they're going to surprise a few people. I just
Mhm.
I can't put my mind on it. But there's something about Chicago. I think they're gonna surprise a few. Um, I think certainly in their series against Green Bay, I think they're gonna get their. I think they're gonna finally get something because Green Bay always seem to have them. But I think they might have a surprise for Green Bay this season. I don't know. I feel I've got something for Chicago this season. I think they're gonna. I don't think they'll finish bottom this time. I don't. I just see them doing well. So um, Green Bay again. I love Jordan Love. I love what they got. I don't know if you've heard the news though. In regards to Josh Jacobs. So if that becomes a factor with
No.
whatever's happened, and if the NFL take action, that's going to be a blow to them because he is, But I've put because I actually had, yeah, I think they'll still be all right, but depending on how that goes with him, and I don't know.
Mhm.
But I put Green Bay there, and then Detroit. I've put so I think Detroit will win this division.
Mhm.
Uh, they they always but they've always seemed to start off well, and then they always seem to just like die down, disappear. I
Yeah.
think they'll go a bit better this season. I don't know whether they can. I don't think they'll go all the way, but I think getting into the playoffs they'll go far. I think they'll go far, but I don't think they'll go all the way. But that's how I've got that division. I've got the Lions, Packers, the Bears, and then the Vikings. But again, just like the with the AFC West. Again, don't judge me. It's another tough division, um, and a lot of some very very stinky rivalries in this division. So
Yeah.
it's a very tough one to pick from. But that's how I'm going to go with it this time around. That's how I'm going to go with it.
Mhm. Yeah, man. I can see your rationale for that, and I can agree with a lot of it. And again, it feels like something that we keep coming back to. But again, some of the guys that are in the mix when you're talking about the quarterback position that I feel like are not quite there but could be are in this division. Jordan Love in Green Bay, and then again, obviously, when you're talking about the situation in Minnesota with Kyler Murray, I think he has a lot to prove, but I think he falls flat. So I think the real sort of deciding factor in the North is going to be what happens between Caleb Williams' Bears and Jordan Love's Packers. Because as I say, and as you said too, I think the deciding factor in the North is Detroit has more firepower than anyone else is capable of defending. I think the QB, Jared Goff, he still
Yep.
has phenomenal ability. He likes to spread the ball out well. He's got good weapons outside. Of course, he's got Jameer Gibbs, arguably the only running back in the league right now that I would put in the same conversation as our own Bijan Robinson.
Hmm.
Just in terms of the amount of things that he can do and the amount of ways that he can service your offense. So I think Detroit, yeah, maybe not a Super Bowl team. They're maybe not heading to LA in Valentine's Day, but certainly a team to watch. And I think I agree with you. Certainly the Lions are going to take it. Another hot take for me, as I say, two hot takes straight back to back, coming out of the AFC West into the North. But I have Bears over Packers, so I have the Packers in third, and then
Hmm.
the Vikings in fourth. So that's
Yeah,
kind of where I'm at with it as well. And it doesn't
yeah.
get any easier because I probably need to caveat the next division by apologising to my mother because I don't think there's an easy way for me to really skirt around this one because we're about to go into the NFC East. So the
Oh
Philadelphia Eagles,
dear.
the Cowboys, New York Giants, Washington Redskins, football team, Commanders, call them what you will.
Do you remember when this division was called the NFC least? I remember for 3, 4 years this division was called the NFC least because all four teams just sucked. They all just,
Yeah, man.
they all just sucked. And now I look at all the four of them and I thought, okay, yeah, this division's maybe a bit more straightforward. Maybe um, New York, the Giants. I've got them bottom again. Um, their time will come. I can't see it yet. Maybe another couple years. They'll start to challenge again. I actually do miss the fact that they have been challenging. I go all the way back to when they won the Super Bowl. That catch with the helmet. No, who does that? No one does that. But but
No, man.
since then they've had the players, but then they've not performed, and then they've just gone down, and they're still down there. But I think give them another couple of years, I think they'll be back. I think, but not right now. I think they're gonna be the team which everyone's just gonna miss out on. The other teams in this division, though, maybe a bit closer. Um, Daryl, my guy, my fellow South Londoner. I have to put your boys third. For the simple
How dare you
reason.
disrespect Jaden Daniels like that, sir? How dare you?
I know. He's gonna be like, yeah. I know he's gonna kill me. I know. he's gonna, he's gonna knock my head off as well. Um, I just think the other two. I just think the other two. It's gonna be between them. Um, Washington have got some talent. They've got some talent, but I love Jaden. I love Jaden. I love Jaden Daniels. I think he's a brilliant quarterback. I think he's got the future ahead of him. He's that guy for Washington. I think he's the guy for Washington. But right now, I mean, he's still got age on his side compared to the others. So I think with Washington, again, like New York, their time will come. But I think it'll come a bit sooner. So I think maybe next season they'll jump the grades above at least one of these teams, which I'm going to bring up. In regards to the division, um, whenever these two teams, I always look forward to when these two play because I know what I'm going to get. We all know what we're going to get when these two teams play. But right now, I feel that Philly is probably a little, maybe a tad better.
Okay.
But on their day, this one could beat anybody in that division. So this is another hot take.
Mhm.
And as much as I don't like them, this is the other team in the NFL which I don't like. I'm going to put Philly second, and I'm going to put Dallas top. I think Dallas are going to win this division. That's my hot take. Begrudgingly, I can't stand Dallas. But I'll put them top. I think Dak will have a good season. He puts up numbers all the time. I know he's had a lot of criticism over the last couple of years, especially ever since he signed that contract. And he did get injured. He got injured, and they then tried. And then there was disputes over whether they wanted to trade him, but then Dallas couldn't really afford to trade him because the contract was just monumental. I can't remember how much it
Yeah.
was, but all of it, I'm pretty sure it was about. I can't remember how much it was, but I think it was like 60 million a year he was getting.
Yeah, it got up to something crazy like 57, 58 a year, and I was just like, this is insane. And
I think it was like
my mum
60 million a season or
doesn't
something.
like Dak Prescott. She's one of the few Cowboys fans, and she detests Dak Prescott, and she keeps going like that. We need to trade him. We need to get him out of Dallas. And I'm like, you can't.
You can't
No
afford
one
to.
wants.
No one wants it. No one wants to take on that contract. I don't blame him.
Oh,
So, but I feel there's something I think there. I think he's gonna. I think Dak is gonna have a. I think he's gonna have a point to prove. I think he's gonna come out and I think he's gonna be like, you know what, people have gone on about this contract and how Dallas have been and the hype of how they've been and it's not been there. But I think Dallas this season. I think they can win this division. That's my other hot take in the NFC. I think they can win this division. But again, when they both play each other, it's always a tough game, and I think they'll split the series. But just like with one of the other division, the AFC, it's going to come down to how Washington goes on between both of them. I think they're going to have a say in this. I think New York will as well. So I think it's going to come down to the heads in the division with who goes top in this one. But I think Dallas may just about take it in terms of finishing top.
I think so, and I think like another thing that could be seen as a hot take, but echoing what we said earlier about the AFC West, I feel like the NFC East is one division where you could see three teams get into the
Yeah,
playoffs, because on their day, as you say, Washington are a very good football team. Jaden Daniels is definitely someone who can get the job done at a high level as well. And as I say, I can see them taking a few divisionals. They may take one each from Dallas and Philly, which makes things really interesting as the season draws on. When you talk about finishing the season out with three divisionals as well, so it's going to be interesting. It's going to be tight, but I think I'm inclined to agree with you. I think Dallas have done a lot defensively to
yeah,
shore up the issues that they had last season, where the Eagles were taking best effect. And I think you can't really shore up as much. Like I've said to my mum, I don't understand the Cowboys as an organisation. I haven't for since they got rid of Micah Parsons and sent him up to Green Bay, because I feel like you're wanting to bring in a similar level and style of production from Von Miller. And I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say that even a 38-year-old now, I think he is, Von Miller is not going to get you potentially 6, 8, maybe even 10 sacks. So I'm not going to say that he's not going to produce on this Dallas defense to a high level. I mean, that leads Dallas. I remind you guys that the sack leader in Dallas last year was Jadeveon Clowney, who had 7.5. So I mean, even if he cuts down the middle and hits that 8 sack threshold, that still leads Dallas's defense. So when you bring in a leader and a presence of the caliber of a Von Miller, I mean, it's going to do a lot to shore up the issues that you're having defensively. They also got a stud in Caleb Downs in the draft as well, who's going to be chomping at the bit to go as well. So I think Dallas just has a little bit more than Philly does right now.
yeah,
So I agree with you in the divisional standings, but I feel like it's a division that I'm definitely watching because, as I say, that may produce three playoff teams as
yeah.
well. because I think the West is weaker than it was in some areas. The South, well, we'll get into that, but I mean, the
Yeah,
East is probably the one division, maybe the North, because those Bears are one of those teams that are messing it with my head. That Bears Packers combination.
yeah.
I keep looking back at the North and I'm like, yeah, if I'm gonna go back and change something, it might be the North. That's messing with me just a little bit. But I mean, like this is what you got to do when you
Mm.
get to shows like this, and we do have great fun doing it. But yeah, I mean, it's time to kind of pull off the band-aid, take a deep breath,
Will,
because ladies and gentlemen,
Will,
to,
I want to do a thing where I want to leave this division last, um,
oh, okay,
because
so
I'm gonna move on to the West. I'm gonna leave the South last because we have a divined investment and interest in that division. So
yeah, okay,
yeah, I think
yeah,
we
I
need
think
to
we can
leave
go
that
that.
one.
So we
We
can
need to leave that
explore
one.
what's then down in the topics. So yeah, by your leave, then, brother, we will skip the South for now. We will turn our eyes out west. So that is for all you Cardinals, you Rams, you 49ers, and you defending Super Bowl champion, Seahawks.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
So
What do
I'm
you
coming.
think's going to
Yeah,
happen?
this division. Yeah, this division is again, it was one of the toughest in the league as well. Don't really have too much of investment in this, although my partner is interested in this because she's a 49ers fan. She's probably not going to like me after I do this one, but then but understandably we briefly spoke about the 49ers and how they're going to be, and she was talking about injuries with the 49ers and how they're going to be. Um, someone had tendonitis. One of the play I don't know. I think it was it both of us. Someone had tendonitis or something. I don't know, but they've
Maybe
got
so, yeah.
injuries in there.
Mhm.
But it is a tough division. It is a tough division, but I feel the team that's going to win the Super Bowl is in this division. At the same time of it, and because of what I was hearing, I feel like a month or a couple of months ago, if they get a certain person out of retirement coming back
Mm,
on that D
yeah,
line, along with Miles Garrett, I'm very scared to play the Rams.
yeah,
So
for sure.
Arizona, um, they're a bit of a mess right now. Uh,
Mhm.
I think between them and Miami, we're going to be looking at the two teams that are going to be going for that number one pick. They've just not been. At one point, they were looking okay and they were getting there, but then they went down. Kyler Murray and everything about Arizona is just it's just been a shambles, and I don't see them improving. Um, Again, I think this is going to be an experimental thing for them, but I think for the next couple of years they're going to have to ride the storm. So I will put them bottom. This is where it gets interesting.
Mhm.
In my interest, so I'm subconsciously feeling the hands around my neck right now. So I do apologize for all you guys out there. Um, Again, great team, a lot of talent. They picked up, I believe they did pick up Mike Evans, but it's an age of Mike Evans. Um,
Yeah.
did Debo go back there as well? Debo
I'm
Samuel?
not actually too sure. Let me
I don't remember if he went
double
back there,
check.
but I
Uh,
remember
yeah, I think maybe.
he did it. They've got San Francisco. They've again talented team, brilliant players, brilliant individual players. But I think with them, injuries will be a factor. I think they've got in terms of their starters, they're brilliant. But I think after that, if anyone gets injured, they're going to be a problem. Um, people are about to write. Hey, if people in San Francisco want to write, they can write. They can stay over there, Maggie. But
Well,
I
you know
just,
what? I think
I just think
I need to be careful as well when we talk about the West, because shout out to one of our sisters
it's a
in the
hard
freaking
division.
flag, because her husband Andy is not just a Cardinals fan, but he's also a former offensive lineman. So Andy, just know that I say this with all respect, so you don't body me in the street one time you see me.
Yeah, don't
But
pancake me. Yeah, don't
no, I mean,
pancake me. Don't do not do that.
I could do without that, to be quite honest. No, but we say this with all love and respect. If you're playing in the NFL, you're the 1% of the 1% of the 1%. But I mean, you're playing like players, and there's still levels in this league, as we all know.
Hmm.
So I mean, I don't think we're saying anything that's too outlandish or too out of touch.
No.
So yeah, I mean, you can get angry at us, but you can't say that we're not at least trying to speak from a place of logic in our defence. Um, so I'll let you continue there. With that being said,
Uh,
so the 49 third.
I put the 49ers first. Yeah, I put the 49ers third. Um, the favourites and the current champs. Cody, Christina, they will get to the playoffs though. They will get to the playoffs. Hands down, 100% they're getting to the playoffs. And I think that might be a blessing that they don't win the division. I think Seattle, yeah, again, plenty of talent in that team. One of the best, they got one of the best receivers in the league. I just think with what the Rams have done and what they've got, I think the Rams may have a little bit more. The one thing that comes into play with this division is how teams will. I mean, everyone's used to going to Lumen Field. I've been to that stadium and I've seen games and that's hands down the loudest stadium that I've been to in my life. So how the players even hear when they go to Seattle is beyond me. In that when they hear the calling. But I just feel that the Rams have got something more. And I feel, again, if Aaron Donald does come back, because there has been a strong word to say that he may come out of retirement and go back, then that only just strengthens them defensively on the line. I don't, because even though he's been on for the past 3 seasons, I don't think he would really lose too much of a step if he did come back.
No.
I just feel that they've got a bit too much, and right now they are, from what many people have been saying and what the media have been saying, that they are the favourites to go all the way. And isn't the Super Bowl in LA?
It is, yeah. It's
It
at
is. So
SoFi.
can you imagine they win it in their own stadium? It's like it's written for them this season. You know, again, plenty of talent, great receivers, great defense. There isn't many who can in the NFC, especially, who can probably take them. I think they will win the division. I see them going far. I see them at least getting to the NFC Championship game. Myself, I just feel they'll win this division. In terms of who I think I think 2 of them will get to the playoffs. I think San Francisco may just miss out. I think they may just miss out, but it's going to be another tough division, this one. But I think LA will win it. I think LA will take it.
Yeah, I think you're right. Shout out to the frequent flyers dropping into the chat. Winston was good. It was great to hang with you guys last night on the eye test. So you do not need to adjust your screens. The boy is here. Good to hear from you, brother. We're just about to get into the NFC South pretty soon, but right now we're talking about things out west. And for me, the Rams will get far too much firepower. I think the Seahawks definitely make the playoffs, and this is something that I forgot to mention, but it's a good point to circle back. Is the trade involving the Chiefs and Seahawks. So the Super Bowl champions have let the reigning Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker III, the running back, go to Kansas City. So that's going to be another big weapon in KC, given that he's another sort of Bijan-esque model of player. He's a bit more solid as a downhill runner, but he can catch the ball. He can do some good things for you in the pass game too. Has been doing it at a high level since he played at Michigan State as well. So I mean, it's definitely a good pickup for Seattle. I don't think he's going to be the one man to take the Seahawks back to the promised land per se. But I think he's a sad loss. With all that being said, and I think
Mm.
he would have been the guy that would have made you more competitive and pushing LA. And that's why, I'd agree with you. It's going to be LA, Seattle, um, Arizona rather, bringing up the rear. And then I think possibly is this another division that we could say could be a three playoff team.
Possibly.
It's interesting to see. Obviously, given the 49ers, they're another team where I feel like, as you say, good pickup in Mike Evans. And we have to say it objectively, even though he's a man that we have no love for on a personal level. He's done some damage to us over the years, but no, I
Hmm.
mean, they're an aging team, and not just that, they're guys who've had a few knocks or have got a few miles on the tyre, so to speak.
Yeah.
Christian McCaffrey, also George Kittle, the
Cool.
tight end as well. So, I mean, it's a team that are banged up. They've got some obviously older guys as well, but I feel like the youth to experience mix is good there too.
Yeah.
I mean, taking some of the drama and off-field issues out of account when it comes to the 49ers, I feel like they're a team that are always sort of and another thing we would kind of use is and drop as a British kind of term of the night, there or thereabouts. It's always kind of in the neighbourhood of the competitive places. So yeah, I mean it's another team that could potentially get three teams into the playoffs, but I think on this, yeah, there's another hot take that I'm willing to die on the hill of. I think San Francisco are thereabouts, but not quite there. I think they're one of the teams that fall just short in the kind of eighth or ninth seed, hypothetically. But I think they fall just short of a playoff spot. But I think I'm looking forward to seeing the Rams Seahawks games this year. I
Mhm.
think they're going to be massively important and obviously a lot of fun too. But I think the LA Rams, it's going to be tough to call against them for a Super Bowl run. Um, if I have to put money on it right now, I know we weren't going to talk about the Super Bowl too much, but I could see LA Denver, given the
Denver.
fact that Denver could have been there last year, if not for the ankle injury to Bo Nix, who's another quarterback who's in that mix where he's young but he's talented and he has the pieces around him.
Yeah.
Obviously, Des and I absolutely detest that head coach, who will remain nameless, but you know of whom we speak. But I mean, again, objectively, and with all due respect, the man knows how to coach. So
Yeah.
I could maybe see an LA Denver Super Bowl. I could entertain that as a realistic possibility. And now, ladies and gentlemen, if you're ready,
Oh. Oh.
it might be
Oh.
time to circle back home, and really get into the nitty gritty, as it were. So if the Falcons faithful haven't tuned in now, it might be time to start like jumping onto the YouTube and checking out your boys, because it's time to cut our teeth and talk about what's really going to happen in this NFC South. Um, so, Dino, what have you got for us
I don't want to.
apart from existential dread?
I don't want to. Can I? Can I just? Okay. Right. Can I just throw? Can I just throw them up in the air and hope for the best?
Yeah, man.
Let me just throw them up. Let me do that. This division is just, oh gosh. I've been a Falcons fan for 29 years. This division sucks. I can't do it. I really can't do it. I really can't do it. I can't. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. I think all my hot takes are in this one. They're all as bad. It's not. It's not to say that they're all as bad as each other. It's just the division. I remember the division was one of the best in the league about 10 years ago, and then out of nothing, it just went down. It really did deplete, and now we've got this, and it's right. Okay, I think with me, this is gonna be me purely picking with my heart and not my head. So I don't care. You're going bottom. So there. Enough they've said about you. You could, and they're getting old, but they still got decent. They still got players, but I just think there's something missing with New Orleans. I think they've still got a lot to do.
I don't think their QB is the guy. I think Tyler
No,
Shock is.
they've still got
he's a
talent in the team.
Yeah.
Yeah, begrudgingly, they still got talent in the team, but I don't think the quarterback's the one. I just don't think. I think me personally, obviously, the best quarterback in the division is Baker, but he hasn't really got no weapons.
Yeah.
So, you know, he's lost his prime receiver with Mike, and that's a tough one to take as well. Bryce Young is still he's what, in his fourth year,
Yeah.
and
Fourth year, I think
it
it is.
feels, and I think it with Carolina from how it's looking, it's like he's not turned out to be what they expected, and I think there was a bit more expectancy with him, but it just feels like it's not worked for them. Every single so I think I'm gonna put Carolina third. Bucks and Falcon. Now, again, I'm picking with heart and head, but I need to be more logical with this as well. Purely based on our situation with how Atlanta is right now.
Yeah.
Because Baker is still with them, and he's their guy. He's been there for a good while now, and everyone knows what to expect with him. But he hasn't got no receivers. Atlanta, I mean, Atlanta have got. It's like they're both the other way around. Okay, so Bucks have got the quarterback, but they've got no receivers. We have the receivers, but we're having issues with quarterback. If one team had both, I would say they'd win the division. They'd run away with it. But like you said 10 minutes ago, Will, the quarterback position is the most important piece on the puzzle when it comes to playing on that field. And Baker's seen it all, and he's got the experience, he's got the arm, he's done it all, he's been there. And for that reason, and I have to be logical, and I've been like this for the past 20 months, like I've said before, I will put Atlanta. Most people just say, oh yeah, I'm going to put my team top, but I have to be logical to say that Atlanta will finish second. It's tough for me to say that, but because we don't know our situation with quarterback and how we're going to do it, because we don't know. Everyone's got their take on what's what. Even going to this game tomorrow, in last, we still don't know how things are going to be. We don't know. You know, we could say Tua, and then Tua could get injured in the first play, and the next thing you know, do you know what I mean, or vice versa. Or he could have a great game where he throws 4 touchdowns in the first game of the season. It's that crazy in Atlanta right now, because there's such a indecisiveness right there with quarterback and with what's going on. I can't put us top, but I feel we will be better than what we have been in the last few years because of what we've added. We've brought in experience. We brought a couple of players back who have that experience. We reshuffled up things again upstairs with Matt Ryan and everyone. There is a sense of optimism in Atlanta. At the same time, it's kind of hit and miss. But I have to put Tampa top because they have the quarterback in play. But again, they haven't got no weapons. Touche. They lost that with Mike. They lost their thing with Mike Evans. So it so this division, I think out of all 8 divisions, that's the division where you literally could toss a coin, and you could have how many different combinations of how this division is going to end. I can't call it. Like personally,
Yeah.
I've called that based upon my head and a bit of my heart,
Yeah.
but I could be here all night
Yeah.
doing it.
I feel like it's a similar situation, and I'm going to agree with a lot of what you said and disagree with a lot of what you said because I feel like I disagree with you. First off, that Baker doesn't have any weapons. He has Emeka Ibuka out there
Mm,
from the Ohio State. That kid's decent. He's not going to be. Maybe he's going to be a number one, but he's still young. This is going to be year two for him.
yeah,
Talking about your two receivers, I think Carolina, they've got bitten by the injury bug, as happens a lot in the NFC South too. Chris Brazil,
yeah,
the second, is out for the year. So that's your big second receiver that you were going to pair with Ted McMillan. So it means that defending the pass of the Carolina Panthers and Bryce Young is going to be that little bit easier. Um, Obviously, with what you've said about the Saints, I'd agree with Saints in fourth, Panthers in third. Um, I'm going to go with the Falcons winning the division, and I will explain why. And it's not just from a place of bias.
yeah.
As I've said, the Carolina situation I explained by obviously the logic of the injuries just mounting up for them. I don't think there's a lot of help on the defensive front for
Hmm.
the big nose either in Carolina. So I feel like it's going to be a lot of that pressure is going to be coming from the middle. And obviously we've shored up pretty well there. We seem to have we're guys in the interior of the offensive line locked down pretty well with Bergeron, with Lindstrom. Obviously, regardless of who we have at centre, because we've seen flashes from Brockermeyer as well.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, Evan's been decent too, but obviously it looks like Ryan Nuzzel's going to be the guy, and we know I'd probably say he's a top 12, if not top 10 centre in the league right now.
yeah.
So I think he's playing at a pretty high level. With all that being said, I think we've got too much for New Orleans. I think we'll sweep them. I
Yeah.
think the way the NFC South always falls is chaos. So I think we're going to split with Carolina. We're going to split with Tampa Bay. With that being said, I think where the wheels are going to come off is the fact that I feel like we have more depth than Tampa Bay.
Hmm.
So when we play them, remind me, I think that would be at Raymond James during the run at the end. I
I
think we've
believe
got
so.
two Tampa
Yeah, I've got the. Hold on. I believe we've got them.
That's
We've got
a
them
tough
last.
one to call, but I think if they can get us in the A, I think we can get revenge in Raymond James, because we have more depth than they do. Um, I feel like we have a lot more youth than they do, and we've still got a good balance with some of the more experienced guys as well. Obviously, a lot of it's going to be dependent on how many of those veterans you want to hang on to, because as we've said before, and although it's a good problem to have, a big problem for these Falcons is going to be how and where are you cutting this down to 53 men? Because there's
Yeah,
some names that are sort of on the cusp that we know, yeah, it's probably time to start thinking about packing up your locker. But then there's other guys that are on the cusp, like Clark Phillips or Chris Blair, for instance, where you're going, I want to be rid of you, but at the same time, I don't know if I'm ready to make that step. And crazy thoughts like that you
I,
have as a Falcons fan. So, I mean,
I
with
think
all that being said, yeah,
after
sorry.
the sorry, well after the bye week in week 11, we have the Vikings away, then Detroit at home, and then we're away to the Browns and the Commanders, and then we are home against the Buccaneers and the Saints. Then we finish off against Carolina in Carolina.
Oh,
So
see, that's pretty nice. I
it's
think
yeah. I think the
that could be
first part
three.
of it is
Mm.
the
And
the, the first part of it is good.
that's why I think the Falcons win the division,
Mm.
because I've got us 4-2. And I've said to you how tough these first 5 games are for Atlanta,
Oh
because
yeah,
I mean we start off Pittsburgh, Carolina, Green Bay, New Orleans, and
and
then
Baltimore.
Baltimore. So that is a tough stretch. I think even if we can come out of that 3-2, with one divisional win, I think we can utilize depth down the road to get the wins. Um, in the bends with home field advantage in the runoff to playoff football. So I'm not going to lie and say the Falcons are going to go far in the playoffs. I'm going to stay realistic, and that's where my heart comes out of it and my head comes back
Yeah,
into play. Uh, but can I? it's tough because, as I say, Tampa Bay are one of those teams where on their night they can beat anyone, as we've said about a few of these franchises. But with all respect to the Bucks, and I'm sorry to my boy Orion, so shout out Northwest Sports Fanatics. You may not like me too much for this one, but nah, your boys need another year, I think, and I think this year it's our time. How much further we get come January, we will talk about come January. I'm not ready to go out on that much of a limb, but no, I think I've got the Falcons wrapping up the South. I don't think it's going to be pretty. I think it's going to be maybe a 10 win max, but I think we can get that done. That's kind of where I fall with it.
It's. I
But
mean, that's why I left it last because it was.
yeah,
You want. I just want to leave emotion at the door when it comes to it because. Yeah, you're right. With Tampa Bay, they've got the youngsters. They've still got the receivers there, but because they're still young, and I think
yeah,
they. I still think they may miss that whole thing with Mike, but it may play into our hands. It may well play into our hands. I think we are capable of winning the division. That's why I've got us where we are. I think it's always going to. It always tend with us. It always tends to come down to the to the games against each other, and
yeah.
the divisional games are always tough. But I like the fact that we've got a couple of them early.
One thing we maybe
Um,
didn't mention, well, Dean, into the bargain as well is when you're talking about Tampa Bay, they're going to have less room to manoeuvre to
mm,
bring in free agencies, free agents, because they've just spent, I think, somewhere in the region of another $38 million or something. They've sank into Vita Vea. I mean, I'm
okay.
not saying don't pay Vita Vea. I'm not saying that at all. The guy's always a threat on the interior of the line, but
Yeah.
I just feel like it's going to hamper them somewhat if they're looking down the line to, maybe we do need another pass catcher. They're then going to be looking at someone of a bit lower a premium, or at least a bit lower of a price point, to shore up there. So I feel like that's where we can get the job done down the stretch. But as I say, I say that now with some confidence, but
Mhm.
not. I'm in no way saying that this is like 100% this is how it's going to be. But I just feel like, as we'll say at the end of the show, we're putting this across as just one of many ways. But it's certainly been a good opportunity to sit down for a good hour and a half and kind of expand the expand the repertoire a little bit, Dino, and kind of, as I say, show our content flexibility just a little bit. But to turn it back to the fans, and I always like to use this because I made this for the other show, but we want to know your thoughts as well because, as I say, we've been here the last hour and some, kind of giving you our thoughts as to where
Has
the divisions are going to finish,
has that
who some of the
Will,
teams to
Will,
be.
has that Falcon got dreadlocks?
Actually,
Has
that
he
is
got
believe it or not, that is ChatGPT's best interpretation of curly hair. Like, in my defence, mine used to be quite a bit longer than this. I used to have it around here,
dread?
but it got too warm, too thick, and too annoying. So I was just like, nah, I'm trimming this down a little bit so I can breathe again. But no, I mean, at one point I was growing my hair since my young sister was born. So you're talking 17 years of
Yeah.
growing my hair. Like, my hair's really, really thick and super curly, so it takes forever and almost grows into some almost an afro shape because it takes so long for the weight to start to pull it down, and then eventually I get a nice head of long hair. But as you see right now, I've got kind of more of a black football helmet going on. But it's nice, and especially with the heat waves and things that we've been having in the UK, it's breathable, it's more manageable. You can scrape it back,
Hmm.
do the hairband thing like my brother Dino. I mean, it's you have 1,000 different options. It's a much more versatile thing than having it halfway down your arm. But no, I mean, with that being said, if you've got any thoughts, if you think we've digressed a little too much from what you guys feel, if that's the beauty of democracy. Have your say. So I mean, if you think if you think Dino's out of line by saying that the Bucks will win the South, if you feel I'm out of line for saying the Cowboys will win the East, are there Packers fans calling for our blood now because we've speculated that you guys could be third place in the North? We want to hear your say. So as long as you caveat that and come from a place of love, then we'll be just fine,
So
and we will
I'll
answer you
just
with the same.
I'll just say to everybody, for all those that are looking to wring my neck, don't worry, my fiance will do it for me, for you, because as I said, the minute I put San Francisco there, she's gonna have a word. She's gonna come back to me as soon as she sees it. She's gonna have a word with me. And I say
So I feel
I'm not
like we're
allowed to
going to
watch
be
football.
when we come back for the special and during the bye week. I think you may be walking just a little funny if you've spent the last like 10 weeks on the couch. But I mean, like as I say, we're trying to kind of preface this. We're saying we always put our heart and our head into everything we do. We have respect and a lot of love for players, not just for teams. So as such, there's no team in the league that we objectively hate outside of New Orleans.
Well,
We can obviously trade the trash talk all night, but with that being said, that's kind of the honest, and you can just set that alight. You can just set that alight. We're done.
that's it.
Um,
There you go. There you go.
there we
There you
go.
go.
There we go. That's better. That's an awful cold you've got coming on there, Dino. But with that being said, guys, we want you to be part of this too. So, with season two kicking into high gear now, as I say, the Kilted Revolution have expanded. So Dino's going to be on board for the foreseeable, combining obviously his knowledge of the Falcons and the greater NFL with a little bit of soccer to you guys, stateside or association football to our brothers, Clydeside or Thameside if you're down south. So yeah, I know you've got a lot coming, Dino, and I certainly have a lot coming too because I'm going to be expanding into the world of music very soon. So I'm going to be dusting off the old guitar.
Nice,
I'm going to
nice.
be doing some stuff on my new channel as well. So that's going to be something along the lines of literature, lore, and more. Where I'm going to be starting off with an author and some content who is very near and dear to my heart, which is J.R.R. Tolkien. So we're going to be exploring The Hobbit, The Lord of the Rings, The
Beautiful.
Silmarillion, all that good stuff. And then, of course, as I say, I'm going to have a lot of sports content coming down the pipeline as well. I'll be joining, as I say, as always, Salmon Fresh for the OG Raw reviews and Culture Poppin' Presents as well. So just a ton of good sports and media content coming up from the both of us. And obviously, there's obviously going to be the Scottish Falcons and Friends show going on every Monday or Thursday. We're kind of keeping it flexible at the moment because we're doing the watch parties as well. And to that, we can bring it home with the big one, which is tomorrow. We will be tuning in from around about 11:45 GMT midnight. Another late one for us, Dino. So
Yep.
7:15 Eastern Standard Time to our brothers and sisters in the US.
Yeah, they're so lucky.
But before we go, just let the brothers and sisters know where they want to get you if you want to continue this conversation, Dean.
Yeah, guys.
Obviously,
So yeah, as you know, I do my predictions on football and American football. This was all fun for us to do this as well. This is stuff I wanted to do for a good while, to do the predictions like how I've done over the last 2 seasons. I've done weekly predictions for the regular season and the playoffs and who I thought was going to win the Super Bowl. I've done it for the last couple, like I said, last couple of years. No, 3 years actually. I've done it. And then I started doing it with the Premier League as well. If you guys want to do your own predictions, do send them to myself, do send them to Will, or even to Des. I know Des isn't too fun on the prediction side of things, but do send it to all 3 of us.
probably
But anybody,
me or you. So if you
yeah,
send
okay,
your
just
predictions
okay, I
to
mute you.
Daze, he'll probably
For anyone, when it comes to
chat.
when it when it comes to the regular season starting, anyone who is actually in London, me and my team, me and my group, every Sunday we go down to the Hippodrome Casino to go and watch the games. All of us have our teams, so they've got the big screens down there. If you've ever been to the Hippodrome Casino, you know what it's like down there. They've got the Paddy Power bar down there, which has been there for the past 2 years, which is absolutely brilliant. They've had TalkSport down there on a couple of occasions, so you've seen them there. I'm going to be hopefully doing some things around the international games. I am due to be in Madrid, so I won't be there for that, but I am due to do things with the casino. I've got to speak to them a bit more, so if I can do some stuff during the international games, interactive with fans when they come. So if you guys are ever in London, or if you are in London and you want to find a place where to come watch the games, hit me up. Let me know if you want to come watch with us. There's a whole group of us. We're all welcome. We welcome everybody, whatever team you support, wherever you come from, whether you're in the States, wherever you are living in London, whether you're traveling and you're looking for a place to come and watch. Come down, watch the game, drink some alcohol, have some chicken wings, have hot dogs. They got it all there. It's a great hangout, and it's a great way to meet people down there as well. So do get in contact if you're ever in London for that. And yeah, just keep a lookout as well. If give me your comment again. Give me your comments on who you think is going to do well in the season with your division predictions. We will be looking back on these when the international games finish, which will be around about, I think, week 10. I think by the time all the international games are done, so we're going to look back on it and see where the teams are, and then we're going to compare. And then from there, we're going to then do it all over again, but we're going to do it with the playoffs and who's in the playoffs and who's in the hunt. So we're going to do it from there, and then we're going to go into the playoffs, and then we're going to go. I want it to go all the way out to the Super Bowl time. So all in that time, yeah. Let me know what you think, guys. There we go.
All sounds amazing. Looking forward to obviously getting back on to kind of dissect our own interpretations. So that's going to be fun to look back and kind of critique these a little bit later down the season. As I say, that's probably going to be, as Dean says, around about week 10, week 11, sort of tail end of the international cycle, into the bye. But I mean, as I say, we make no secret of the fact that we are now trying to actively pursue some special shows where we are building the bridge between ourselves and the ATL Falcons UK as well. So our intention is not just to obviously give you the Clydeside, Stateside and worldwide opinions of Falcons fans all throughout the globe, but it's also to fly the flag not just of the Atlanta Falcons, but the Saltire or the Union Jack respectively. We won't get political, so we'll leave it at that for now. But obviously, just know that the sentiment stands. So wherever you are around the world, if you do want to be obviously getting a hold of us, then you can get a hold of us on the socials. So Dean, can you let the people know where to get at you? And I will do.
Yeah, guys, I am on Deano Away Days on YouTube. I'm also on all platforms. I've got a group on Facebook, which is Away Day Sports. I've got Away Day Sports on TikTok, and I also have Away Days on Instagram. Remember to spell Daze, DAZE, not as normal, but yeah, Away Days, DAZE, and then you can follow me from there.
Wonderful. And if you're looking for your boy, I will be pretty much everywhere now. I've got my Instagram back up and running,
Yep.
TikTok, all that good stuff, X, Facebook. So I'm at Will the Thrill Waddle on most things. As I say, if you want to keep it coming, keep the email in mind if you want to email us about show ideas or if you want to come on and join the panel. That will be willthethrillafn@gmail.com. Which I've just set up. So if you have any business recommendations, you can get at me there, or you can hit up the man to my right at supernoverdino@gmail.com as well. So keep the flag flying, keep it here, keep it Celtic. If you do have any questions, any comments, we'd love to have it. And if you just want to show love, then you know you do it by dropping the red and blacks in the chat, as always. But ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Dino, because we're rolling that out a little bit, we're gonna keep it going because, as I say, these boys are the machines through which I run, and keep me rising up even when there are, as you all know, as content creators, it's sometimes hard to kind of put these shows out when life be lifing, but you got to show love. You always got to show love,
Yep.
and as such, we always got to close out with the normal kind of run of the mill AFN close that you've all come to know and love so much. So, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Dino and myself, just know that the Scottish Falcons and friends, and all of us here at AFNI, we love our ATL. And before we bid you good night, not just Dirty Birds, but good night to all NFL fans wherever you're watching, listening in from. Brother Dino, why don't you take us home?
Pain is international, but so is the passion.
Till next time, guys. Much love. Peace out. Dino,
Take care,
we'll
guys.
see you soon, brother. Again. Bye bye.